Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 011, Arithmetic, Section 2.10, Problem 17. This is Section 2.10, Problem 17. It says simplify, and we have the square root of 1/4 all raised to an exponent of 5. So there's two things I really have to deal with, the square root and the exponent of 5. So let me take care of the square root first. When you have the square root of a fraction, really you can do it as two separate individual square roots, one for the numerator, one for the denominator. And we won't forget that that fifth power is still there. I can't just let it disappear. Now, the numerator, square root of 1, is 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. And then the square root of 4 is 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. And again, we still have that fifth power, but now the square root is gone. Square root of 1/4 is 1/2. And sure enough, 1/2 times 1/2 is indeed 1/4. So we've dealt with the square root. Now we have to deal with the fifth power. So 1/2 raised to an exponent of 5 would be 5 1/2s multiplied times each other. So 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 again. And it looks bad, but it's really not as bad as it looks. So to multiply these 1/2s together, multiply across the numerators. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So it's going to come out to 1. 1 times 1 is 1, times another 1 is still 1, times the fourth one is still 1, times the last one is still 1. So the numerator is 1. The denominators, you multiply the 5 2's together. 2 times 2 is 4. Times the next 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. Times the next 2 would be 16. 8 times 2 is 16. Times the last 2 would be 32. 16 times 2 is 32. So when you multiply all the denominators together, all those 2's multiplied together, it comes out to 32. So the final answer is 1/32, or you could say 1/32. So the final answer for square root of 1/4 raised to an exponent of 5 is 1/32.